Welcome to the after party. You know what? Let me just say podcast. I'm your host, Ray. With me, as always, we have Father.
Happy Independence Day to all my Ghanaian brothers and sisters. We are the first to get our independence in sub Saharan Africa. We are the Black Star of Africa. This is our day.
Yo, I saw that video you put on Facebook. What video was that? Because I wanted to watch it.
Which one? The guy of the guy dancing?
Yeah.
That's a song by this artist named Papa She, who's very he's one of the classic artists in our country. So I played that, because I love that music video because that nigga's just jamming, and he has a whole bunch of women with him. And if there's
Yo,
one thing about Ghanaians is we always dance with a whole bunch of women like in front of us.
this, first things first. The song from the snippet I've heard, I was like, "This is really good." So I was like, I wanted to get. I was going to ask you, regardless or not, but yeah, I saw him jamming in there, and I was like, "This man is happy." I said, "I loved it, and I love it." It was really fucking happy. So
You want to know what's funny?
yeah.
So he's a pastor now, and he doesn't like it when people play his old music because it reminds him of his sinful life. But we don't give a fuck because his music is like he has bangers, bro.
Hey, from what I heard, that sounds like a banger itself. So I'll take your word for it because that song sounded really good. And happy Ghanaian Independence Day.
Thank you.
Which, by the way, I always wanted to say this. I love your flag. Your flag is fucking dope.
Right? Yo, I always say we have like one of the best flags in Africa, and Africans have a lot of beautiful ass flags. Like I love the Congolese flag. The Congolese flag, the blue, that shit is
Hmm.
beautiful. I love the Senegal flag. I love the Cameroon flag. The South African flag is pretty good too. Nigeria has a pretty nice flag. I like the green and the white, but our flag is undefeated, honestly.
Oh yeah, I fucks with your flag heavy. All right, so if y'all don't listen to the podcast, I already asked this question to Dion and Tony, and like they gave their opinions. But when I'm be honest, like I specifically like built up this topic because for Father, because I know he has a lot of information and opinion on it. So I'm gonna start it the way I started with them. You know who Lovely Mimi is, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she was the Asian person on Love and Hip Hop, and I think she was on Black Ink.
Yeah. Okay, I remember. Yeah.
Okay, so there was a video like I think like a week or two ago. There was a video of her like slipping using the N word, and they was going back to her archives and like some of her Instagram lives of her just using the N word like all out instead of and not really apologizing for it. So I've always said that when people try to catch people that's not white, but but you would consider non-blacks use the N-word. I've always had this attitude like y'all won't care in a couple of days. Um, so how do you feel about not white people but non-blacks using an N-word?
Okay. So non-blacks using the N-word, I'm gonna put that on black folks and I'm gonna explain why. Now you would agree that for a very long time, black folks, we've always had this like integration, kumbaya, minority coalition type of energy. You would agree
I,
with this, right?
I agree.
Yes. So like back in the days when we was on that, we wanted to include everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because we knew what it was like to be discriminated against. We knew what it was like for, people to subjugate you based on how you look. So we didn't want other people to go through that. So for a very long time, like we tried to include a lot of people in our shit. You know what I'm saying? And a big example of that I would like to use is Wu Tang Clan, because Wu Tang, they use a lot of like Asian culture in their songs and a lot of the martial arts kung fu shit.
Hmm.
And for a very long time, like we was rocking with it. You know what I'm saying? We was cool with everybody. You remember we was there was movies coming out like Romeo Must Die and Rush Hour and shit like that. You
Exactly.
hear a whole bunch of hip hop songs. We putting Chinese words in it. We putting fucking Japanese words in it. Like we've always wanted to like include Asians with us. You know what I'm saying? This goes back to like the early 2000s and the 90s and shit. So we've always had like a respect for their culture because we knew what it was like to be discriminated. But little do we know, we come to find out These same people do not have the same energy towards us. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to say that all of them have this monolithic agenda to be anti-black, but I'm saying that to say that a lot of them don't respect us. A lot of them still look at us with contempt. A lot of them are still very anti-black, regardless of the energy we have towards them. So when I hear non-black people, like Asian people and non-black Hispanic people saying the N-word, because we included them too, at least we tried to, and then we come to find out, yo, these people still think, these people disrespect black women. You know what I'm saying? For a very long time, there were a lot of them that would say, oh, we better than black women and shit because we dating black dudes, and black dudes be co-signing this shit. You remember that time? A lot of them, a lot of niggas was on that shit where, oh man, I want me a foreign, I want me a mixed girl and shit. And she gotta have the whole black aesthetic, except I want all the black features except, I want her to be light skinned, foreign, mixed, whatever.
They still
So
on this shit.
yeah, and they still on that shit to this day. So when you have that type of energy going around, now you come to find out why black folks now they're switching their stance. We're starting to gatekeep a lot more when it comes to our shit, because we come to find out that a lot of these very same people that we try to include, they disrespect us. You know what I'm saying? And I try not to generalize because, as I said, there are those who do and there are those who don't. And I'm the type of person I want to make distinctions. So the type of non-black people that I'm talking about, I want to be very clear. I want to be very specific. The ones that talk shit about black people, but they stay using AAVE, or they grew up in the hood, so they feel like they can talk black and not face any repercussions and shit. They got to get checked, because where were y'all when our brothers and sisters are getting killed in the streets? Where were they when black women was getting their ass whooped in these Asian beauty supply stores? Where were they when South Koreans were appropriating our culture pretty much for free? Like, where were all these people? They wasn't saying a goddamn thing, because they knew that like the black culture, especially black American culture, is the blueprint. They stay biting off black Americans. So when you have that type of shit going around and then it goes unchecked for so long, and then people wake up and then they peep what the fuck is going on, the energy changes. And as a result of the energy changing, now you're gonna have people, checking it. Now you're gonna have people, starting to look at other groups of people like, yo, y'all really ain't shit, because all this shit we going through, you want to be all buddy buddy with us, you want to sing our songs, you want to eat our food, you want to be around us when shit is cool. But when we actually going through shit as is being a black person in America, all of a sudden you know where to be found. And then you come to find out the very same people that cry about racism, that cry about all anti-Asian attacks, a lot of them simp for the very white people that don't like them. And I know you've seen this as well. So the
Right.
whole POC, yeah. So the whole POC solidarity thing, they always trying to come to us talking about, minority coalition. We're all in this together. We're all being discriminated and shit. Understand that there's a difference between your discrimination and my discrimination. And this is not to play oppression in the Olympics, but this is the truth. Black people are the only people in America that were forced to build this country from the ground up. Everyone else is an immigrant. You know what I'm saying? They had to come from another place willingly. Black people didn't come here willingly. They were stolen. They were, sold. Like, they went through a lot of atrocities to get to where they are. There's a lot of blood that has been spilled in America, and a lot of it is black. So we're not going to sit here and say, well, because you went through this thing, now all of a sudden we're all one. Because we tried that. And unfortunately, it didn't work for the most part. So now that we're circling our wagons, now that black Americans are seeing what the fuck it is, and the energy is changing, and rightfully so. And the people that understand it and that get it, those are the ones that are still in our spaces, for the most part, because they respect it. You know what I'm saying? They're the ones that are gonna resonate with what we're trying to do, and check their people in for our behalf, because that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to your community and check the anti-blackness. You're supposed to go to your communities and check the people who are saying the N-word. But a lot of them don't do it, because a lot of them feel like, oh, I'm with black people for so long. I feel like they have like a type of entitlement to it. That's why you know, when the Mimi girl that you said, there's another Asian, China Mac, you know, he says the N word a lot. There was
Yeah.
there's this gang in California. They're like a whole bunch of Cambodians and shit like that. They be saying the N word, and none of them get checked because, again, I blame black people because we were on that shit. But you know, the shit is changing. But we have to acknowledge the fact that we allowed these people to do so. And for the most part, we still allow them to get away with it, especially this new generation now. It's really, really bad. So when it comes to that, I agree that non-black people should not be saying the N-word because they have absolutely no connection to the word whatsoever. It doesn't matter whether you grew up with black folks or not. Obviously, like we have, we have like exceptions to the rule, if you want to say, like, for example, Fat Joe. Fat Joe used to say nigga a lot, you know, if you remember his first and second albums when he was coming out.
Yeah.
But, you know, he grew up in the black community. Like, you know, in New York, the Puerto Ricans and black people, they lived literally side by side. So when it comes to that, you know what I'm saying? We have to keep that same energy, but at the same time, it's understandable why a Fat Joe would be saying the N word because he literally grew up. I'm pretty sure his whole squad was black folks. You know what I'm saying? So if he's cool and he was in that space, then like, of course, we're not. It's not that we're like turning a blind eye to it, but we're not gonna make it a big deal. You know what I'm saying? But these other people that, you know, use our language and use the culture and shit like that, they just bite off the culture and don't contribute anything back or don't check the very same people. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that shit is over now.
It's funny. I said the same thing when I've heard Lovely Mimi like first use the N word and there was outrage on Twitter. I said y'all won't care in a couple of days. I personally said usually when I see shit like that, I said y'all won't care in about a week. This one I was like y'all won't care in a couple of days, and I was kind of right because like in a couple of days I was checking her Instagram to see, and I checked the comments to see if anybody was still trying to drag her and all that stuff. And no, it was either. Now, thing is, she probably deletes the comments. I don't know if she does that or not, but I didn't see that on Twitter. The day it happened, I seen it happen, but like a couple days later, I seen no one talking about it on Twitter. Anytime she did something, no one's like attacking her and all that other stuff. So my thing is just like if we're going to gatekeep, like you said, and I do believe that we should gatekeep some things. There's some things we should keep in house. Y'all really got to be on it. Sometimes we let a couple people slide, and I know for Lovely Mimi, like even before she like got on Love and Hip Hop and I think Black Ink. Like I've seen her on Instagram, and a lot of people don't call her culture vulture, which I agree with because and her fetishizing black men. Like she would literally say, "I don't date Asians because their dicks are small, and I fuck with black people because their dicks are bigger." So obviously, and I feel like because she's an Asian girl with a fat ass, either is bought or natural. I know she has implants and all that stuff, but I feel like when people look at her, and I've noticed she's getting like a little darker, so you could say she's blackfishing as well. No one's really checked her on it, and like all the dudes that are like not, and I feel like mostly, and I don't blame black men for that. I think most of that is considered with black men because I think like some dudes just don't care. They do want to have sex with her, and like they'll let her slide with that. But I've noticed that not just for this, like you said, we do it for like majority of people that I feel like we're cool with, out of their non-black or like maybe even like the white boy that grow the hood. Like I'm not saying we do, but I know there's a couple people that that have white friends that will let them say the N word. Like that's why people call them that one black friend. I feel like that shit got to be checked or not because honestly, and I know I've said this to people, is like if you go say that word outside and somebody's going to fuck you up, all that other stuff, and they might not be just because that one black friend lets you say the word doesn't mean like every black person is going to let you say the word. You got to have respect for it, and then also like you said, we got a lot of that. It's like we got to put people in check. My thing is about with the Black and Asian community because it's funny because my next question was, what do you think about the Black and Asian community? And you kind of answered that too. I've kind of looked at them as like distant cousins. or like our second cousins or something like that, something like that, is because, and the reason I say that is because you said it as well. We kind of like I don't we kind of like in a way we do respect our each other's culture, like blacks with the martial arts. Anytime I see a black person doing martial arts, they do it with the highly most respect, and they don't like, you get to a couple of people that make jokes about it, but you know the people that really like do martial arts, they give that the most high respect. And I feel like the same way with some of the Asians and the hip hop, especially Japanese culture, like they definitely like respect hip hop, and you see it in like you'll see it in the K-pop, some of the K-pop, some of the other Asian groups that does it hip hop. They do respect us, but also like you said, there are like generations of Asians that not only like treat us like garbage, but you know they will side with white people, and sometimes they have been labeled the good minority. Now I know they
Yeah,
don't like, I know they don't like it either, but at the same time, some of them do run with it. Is and sometimes, and the thing is, when I see like, because I know that shit happened in Oakland when it was like push, whoever it was pushing all old Asian people aside or some shit. Like black people don't like doing that because like we've been through shit ourselves where we've been seen as racist. But at the same time, like and I remember when COVID first started, they was calling it the Kung flu, and a lot of Asians
yeah,
was having a problem about that. And I know my attitude was like, well, you see what black people go through. Now
yep,
you kind of see. It's like, it's not that I didn't care. It's just that now you understand some of the pain that go through, and that's not even like a tenth of what black people go through. You're just feeling it, and this shit right here will pass. But as soon as they're done with y'all, they come back to us because like
yeah.
is to be, in the words of Michael Jackson, is black and white, and I don't care what anybody say because we was brought here. Like it's always a type of love hate relationship between black and white people and all that other stuff that for some reason we have this everyday struggle of them fucking with us. When it's not Jim Crow, it was redlining, and it was come all the way back to slavery from them. Every time we like do something that is trendy or like popular, they will take it and they will whitewash it. So I'm like, when people ask me like, do you think people should use the N word? I always say, no one should use it, but I'm not going to tell another black person he's not going to use the N word because we do flip it, and then we do make it a term of endearment. And what we do with that word, that's between us. But as far as other races, like you said, y'all didn't go through the struggle that other black folks have done. Like you don't know, like especially when it comes to us marching for it, us getting water hose on, like getting dog sicked up. Like our ancestors went through hell just to even get equal rights and all that. So just so you can just come into this country and like um set up shop and shit. Like you gotta, like, I feel like, I don't want to say the word pay homage, but you at least gotta understand like major
You gotta
history.
have respect. You gotta have
Yeah,
respect. That's
have
first and foremost.
have respect for the people that like gave you the like giving you the reason and the opportunity to do what you do, and it's definitely on the backs of blacks.
And to add on to your point, you said that like that you said that not like you didn't care that they were like going through things, but you see how like we go through it. I'm gonna take it a
Mm-hmm.
step further, and this is just me. I honestly didn't care, and the reason why I didn't care is because when the energy is towards us, is very performative. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the same. Like a lot of these same people will be like Black Lives Matter, because they got some black friends, or you know what I mean? Like the black liberal fans that want to be cool by y'all with everybody. So they run with their little circles and shit, and like it's all these little minority POC circles, and they
Yeah,
think that they misspell a couple signs and walk out on the streets and say Black Lives Matter, that they think they're doing something. They sign a couple petitions and shit. They go vote for Joe Biden because Donald Trump is so bad and shit. Like, that type of energy. And like, I understand what they're trying to do, but at the same time, you have to understand that with everything, there's a narrative and there's a context. So, there was a video by Godfrey that was actually breaking all that shit down, because he was like, now you see everything that's going on. Donald Trump sitting there calling it the Kung flu virus. Now you see. We've been trying to tell you, we've been trying to tell y'all these motherfuckers don't like you, and now look. You know what I'm saying? And then only to come to find out that, you know, you do the research, you come to find out that, you know, a lot of the the Asian beauty suppliers, they're up their prices towards, you know, black businesses that are in the same business because it's a monopoly. You know, you come to find out that, again, going back to, you know, K-pop and stuff, a lot of them were accused of, you know, cultural appropriation and also anti-blackness. Um, there's a lot of clips that are doing that. And then, you know, you have a lot of people trying to say, oh, you know, but they changed, you know, but they learned and stuff. And I'm like, that's not the point. That shouldn't have been a thing in the first place. And when it comes to that, again, I blame the black community for that because y'all should have done a better job in gatekeeping your fucking culture. Now you have all these people that come over here disrespect you for free, and then all of a sudden, when white folks are giving them the same smoke that they're giving us, that we warned them that they were going to give them, you know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden they want to come over here and try to pull that whole minority coalition thing, and it's like, bro, at this point, like, black folks, y'all stay getting bamboozled, y'all stay having people come over here to undermine you, and all y'all trying to do is help them out. And but like, I don't blame them like fully because our nature that's our nature. You know what I'm saying? We want to help everybody out. Black folks, we always got to be the moral compass. Black folks, we always got to be the people that do the right thing. You know, Michelle Obama's quote, when they go low, we go high, that type of shit. We've always been the people to, you know, do civil rights. We've always been the people to fight for others and shit. It's just like, when is that same energy going to be for us? It's not, it's like beyond Black Lives Matter at this point. It has to be a paradigm shift with every single culture that claims to look, that, you know, claims to be for black people, or certain types of people in America that are from other groups that say they love black folks. Okay, so if you love black folks so much, then make sure that you're fighting anti-blackness in your own communities then, because that's how you really show your allegiance. And it's like I said before, there are those who do, and there are those who don't, because at the end of the day, black folks, we're gonna look out for ourselves. The energy from now on is gonna be for ourselves. We're not doing no caping for nobody. You know, our cape is off. We're not doing that whole minority coalition shit no more. We're not doing that POC solidarity anymore. All of you motherfuckers are on your own. That's it. Until the energy changes.
Any last words before we cut this short?
Nah, I think we said all we needed to say. Just make sure, you know, you keep that same energy, and gatekeeping is not a bad thing.
All right. Sissy, I got you here now. You got any final thoughts?
So I guess my final thought is I remember there was a discussion about how black men, we don't have like safe spaces. And it was a discussion on Twitter. And I saw a lot of people talking about, well, black men don't have safe spaces because they don't make safe spaces for each other, which I have to disagree with, because there's a lot of spaces that black men can go to if they want to vent and shit. You know what I'm saying? And I know you've seen this because as a black man yourself, there's plenty of places where you can go and, you know, get your feelings out, or get your feelings across, and, you know, you wouldn't be ridiculed for it. You know what I'm saying? So, right, in a way, like, I do agree that there needs to be a better job in how black men treat each other. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, this notion that, oh, everything that's wrong with black men is the fault of men because of patriarchy, and, you know, they try to put the whole feminist spin into it, and they kind of say patriarchy harms men too, so you guys need to. And I'm like, I mean, to your point, it can be better. But we're not going to sit here and say that black men are the sole reason why patriarchy is whooping our asses, because that wouldn't be true. As a matter of fact, black men weren't even considered men in a lot of those times either. As a matter of fact, when the feminist movement was even popping, there were anti feminist movements by white women as well. So there's always been a conflict of interest when it comes to that. But this narrative that black men are supposedly uphold this patriarchy, and that is the reason why a lot of us are so fucked up. No, that's not the reason why. White supremacy is the reason why. And white supremacy favors white men. It doesn't really favor black men. The only thing it really does is that it tokenizes certain black folks, and it puts them in positions like overseers, and, you know, like that overseer position type energy. that they be having. So when it comes to that, you have to put that into consideration, because there's been a lot of black men that have been killed even though they were doing the right thing. There's a lot of black men that, even if they, show their vulnerabilities and show their emotions, they either get their feelings dismissed, or there are other groups of people that tell them to suck it up and be a man. And black women are also complicit in this as well. And again, this is not to generalize, but if we're going to tell the truth, let's tell the truth. And when it comes to that, I always say it, both black men and black women are the problem. Both black men and black women have played a part in that type of narrative being perpetuated. So if you want to change that, then we as individuals have to do better and create spaces in where our brothers can, be vulnerable, and create a space where our brothers can actually get the shit out. Because being a black man is very like isolating. It's very lonely, because we truly do feel like nobody fuck with us. We truly do feel like nobody has our backs. And, it makes sense, due to the conditioning that we're in, and due to how we have been treated for the past 300 years. So yeah, it'll be safe to say that as a black man, I feel like nobody really has my back. I feel like nobody really gives a fuck about my feelings. And when I do talk about my feelings, I either get misunderstood, or somebody says some shit, or the confidentiality gets thrown out the window because there's a woman that wants to gossip about it, or like there's some people that will undermine your pain. Like all of that shit is taken into consideration. And then when we're talking about this, you still have people that want to undermine us. You still have people that want to put in their 2 cents, talking about, well, if man did this and then man did that. And I'm like, why don't you just shut up and listen to what we're saying? You know what I'm saying? Because when it's y'all, we have to shut up and listen to what you're saying. We can't talk back, otherwise we're mansplaining and stuff. Why can't we have that same energy? Why can't we have that same respect? Because it's not about equal rights. It's about people trying to humble another people because of this perceived position of power. And we've talked about black male privilege before. We've acknowledged that there are certain areas where black men do have privileges, but for the most part, because we have been so subjugated, we can't really, it's either we can't either act out on them, or we act out of them in ways that appear oppressive, but are actually, like part of the is intraracial, or like it's a proximity thing. So for example, if a black man kills a black gay man or a black trans woman or whatever, first of all, that crime was committed in an area where black people are present, or where the black community is present, or like in a predominantly black area. So the intraracial aspect of that is going to be the reason why they would target that person in the first place. Yes, homophobia is a thing. Yes, transphobia is a thing, and we should be doing more as a community to combat those things. But I don't think it's as black and white as, oh, black men, they just hate everybody, so they kill everybody. That's a white supremacist narrative. We're not killers, we're black men. We're not murderers, we're black men. We're not, we're not trash, we're not everything. We're just black men. There's going to be black men that do, and there's going to be black men that don't. But do not make the mistake of perpetuating a narrative that peddles black men as this less than human type of archetype, because we have issues just like y'all have issues. So, I mean, I don't know if that made sense, but that's how I see
It makes sense to me. Uh, and that's it on your final thoughts.
it. Yeah, that's it.
What? Okay. Wise words from your boy father. I would like to thank you for joining on the after party and giving your thoughts. I would like to thank y'all for listening and hear us talk our shit again. This is the after party on You Know What? Let me just say podcast. Signing out. Peace.